Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here. Today we're talking about Nintendo Switch, 3DS, Emulation Station, and more. Let's get started. Alright, to kick things off, I've seen a bunch of comments in my last few videos from people wishing me well and hoping I get better soon. I want to say thank you for those comments. I am getting better, really slowly, and my voice is still absolutely shot. But we got a lot of news to talk about. We'll start out with Nintendo Switch emulation on PC with Yuzu, and the paid testing early access version of Yuzu just got a really big update. So in Yuzu Early Access 3524, there's a brand new buffer cache revamp. They say many games that previously required high GPU accuracy to be visually accurate now work with normal GPU accuracy. So particles, lighting effects, smoke, textures, a lot of this stuff has been fixed for a whole bunch of different games. For example, tree flickering in Breath of the Wild has been fixed. Particle flicker in Breath of the Wild has been fixed, resulting in higher performance with accurate rendering at normal GPU accuracy, with more performance optimizations coming soon. Lighting in Diablo 2 and lighting in shadows in Luigi's Mansion 3 have been fixed and no longer flicker. Particles and character lighting in Pokemon Sword and Shield has been fixed. And on top of that, Pokemon Legends Arceus, Bayonetta 3, Nier Automata, Monster Hunter Rise, Fire Emblem Warriors, Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and Kirby and the Forgotten Lands all have fixes. But wait, there's more. Early Access version 3527, which literally just released at the time of filming, introduces some more optimizations and some amazing optimizations. There's a 1 to 5% performance improvement on CPU bottlenecked games, and they've optimized the normal accuracy performance by a whopping approximately 50% on games like Breath of the Wild, Super Mario Odyssey, Xenoblade, and Kirby and the Forgotten Land, and even more. And they've also fixed Splatoon 2's ink gimmick on AMD GPUs on high accuracy. Now these paid early access changes generally make their way to the mainline build within a couple of weeks, give or take, and more than likely sooner. So keep your eye open on Yuzu because it's going to have a really big update really soon for the mainline version. And yes, I'm going to cover it once I know more about it. Moving on, and we're still talking about Switch emulation, but switching over to Android and talking about Skyline. And Skyline got a couple of brand new updates. If you head to skyline-emu.1 and click on download here, you'll see the latest version at the time of filming is version 2473, which just released. And the paid testing early access version of Skyline, Skyline Edge, just got a brand new update. Version 68 just released. We've got a bug fix here and also a brand new implementation. Games that use BSD sockets can now go on the internet. Someone has Minecraft story mode up and running at a solid 60 frames per second. On the mainline build, someone is claiming that Dark Souls Remastered is playable with a Mali GPU. From what I see here, it's very dark and I can't quite tell if anything is rendering. And it is getting 17 frames per second. Moving on, and we're talking about Nintendo 3DS emulation with Citra. In Citra Nightly 1887, there's a fix here for a crash for AMD GPU users in Pokemon XY and Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. And in the latest Nightly build, which just released, there's fixes here for Pokemon Super Mystery Dungeon and Fire Emblem. To pick up the latest version of Citra, head to citra-emu.org and click on download. Once you are here, scroll down and click on manual download, and then scroll down to Nightly and pick it up for your platform of choice. And speaking about platforms, next up we're talking about ESDE, which stands for Subscribe to Mr. Sujano, or Emulation Station Desktop Edition, depending on how you want to interpret that. Anyways, ESDE just got a brand new update. So on top of a number of bug fixes, they added in support for a whole bunch of things and added in some new features. For example, they added in an experimental theme downloader. They gave the Sinclair some love by adding support for it. They added in 7-zip and zip file extensions for 3DO. If you're on Mac, they added in some brand new N64 cores. At the time of filming, Emulation Station 2.0.1 is the latest version. And for those who may not be aware, Emulation Station is not an emulator in itself. It's a front end for your emulators. So it'll organize everything and make things look real pretty for you and launch everything from one place. And it is available for Windows, Mac, and Unix Linux. It is free and open source. And speaking about Linux, today Linux kernel version 6.3 was released. This adds support for the Logitech G923 racing wheel. It adds support for the 8BitDo Pro 2 wired controller. and it also adds initial support for the Steam Deck controller interface. Now, there are a ton of other improvements that kernel 6.3 brings about, but I did want to highlight we're now one step closer to having other Linux distributions on the Steam Deck up and running with little headache. And speaking about hassle, last up here we're talking about PS5 scalpers. And this news has been cycling its way around for the last week or so, but apparently PS5 scalpers are having quite a hard time now unloading the PS5s that they have. It's a lot easier to pick up a PS5 in store and with a warranty so you can exchange it if something happens. The PS5 scalpers are often seen selling these PS5s for under MSRP. I did take a look on eBay and I can see some PS5s going for over MSRP and I can see some going for under MSRP. And truth be told here, if I was in the market for a brand new PS5, I would probably pick one up from the store. I'd rather have warranty and be able to exchange it without a headache as opposed to dealing with a scalper and all of that. But anyways, that is all I've got for you in this one. Straight to the point, all stuff and no fluff. We talked about a bunch today. Let me know your thoughts about absolutely any of it in the comments below. If you liked this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button. Check out my other videos. Don't tempt fate. Save your state.